All right, let's dive into this one. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck.
A classic.
Yeah, and it seems like you're really interested in getting kind of the full picture here. We've got some good introductions, some chapter summaries,
Yeah, yeah.
but we really want to pull out like the deeper stuff, right?
Right.
What's Steinbeck really trying to say here?
Well, it's a story that really has stood the test of time.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you think about it, the Great Depression,
yeah.
the Dust Bowl,
I see.
families having to leave everything they know.
It's hard to even fathom,
Mm.
like those dust storms and the crops failing and people packing up everything they own, just heading out on, these rickety trucks to who knows where.
And not knowing what they're going to find. Right. That's
Yeah.
something that you really feel throughout the book. This fear, this desperation.
And hope though, too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, clinging to that hope
Yeah.
that things will get better.
Yeah, I mean, right away, you meet these characters and you're drawn in. You got Tom Joad just out of prison
Mm.
trying to figure out, like, what even is this world now?
Right. It's a completely different world.
Yeah. And then, Ma Joad holding the family together.
Oh, Ma Joad. She is such a powerful character.
She is.
Really a symbol of strength. Just that resilience in the face of just unbelievable hardship.
Yeah, and then there's Casey, right?
Oh, yeah.
That former preacher.
Yeah, struggling with his faith.
What does it even mean in all this?
It's interesting, right? Because his journey really kind of reflects, like, the spiritual crisis that I think a lot of people were going through at that time.
Yeah.
Like, the old ways of thinking, the old beliefs just weren't cutting it anymore when you're faced with that level of suffering.
So we follow the Joads, right?
Yeah.
Heading west on Route 66, and the excerpts you gave, it's just brutal.
That was a tough journey.
Breakdowns, scams, you see glimpses of kindness, but so much cruelty.
And that's where I think Steinbeck's social commentary really comes in.
Yeah.
You see that contrast. The individuals who are trying to help, but then you've got the system that's just working against them at every turn.
Yeah, like those used car salesmen,
Yeah.
just totally taking advantage of people's desperation.
Oh, yeah, preying on them. And that's why I think those, those intercalary chapters,
Yeah.
those chapters that kind of step outside the main story are so important
Right.
because they show us the bigger picture.
It's like he's pulling back the curtain.
Exactly.
And you see the machine that's grinding these people
Right.
down.
Yeah.
And Casey, he starts out questioning his faith, but then it's like his eyes are opened.
He's waking up
Yeah.
to the injustice of it all.
Yeah, and it's not just about like God or religion anymore. It's about like systems. It's
Right.
about like fighting for the people who are being crushed.
Right, and he realizes that, that true faith means taking action.
And ultimately he sacrifices himself.
He does.
It's like he becomes the symbol, right?
A martyr.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's almost like foreshadowing, that things can't change without sacrifice.
Without collective action.
Exactly.
And then they finally get to California.
It's promised land.
Right.
That's what they called it.
Yeah. But of course, it's not what they expected at all.
Not even close.
No.
I mean, California, it's overrun with migrants.
Yeah.
There are no jobs. The landowners are exploiting everyone.
It's like that dream turns into a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then there's that scene, right? Where they're destroying the food
Oh, man.
while people are starving.
It's just heartbreaking.
Right.
And it just shows you the just utter cruelty
Yeah.
of a system that values profit over human life.
It's no wonder he called it the Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. It's that simmering anger,
Yeah.
that feeling that something has to give.
It's like a powder keg ready to explode.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all
Ah.
this pressure, all this desperation.
And that's where you really see Tom Joad change.
It's like seeing Casey murdered. It just lights a fire in him.
He becomes a fugitive, yeah. But it's more than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's picking up where Casey left off,
Yeah.
realizing that the only way to make things right is to fight back.
And that's, I think, one of the big things Steinbeck's saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Tom's journey. It's showing us how when you see suffering, when you experience it firsthand,
It can lead to change.
yeah, it wakes you up to the need for like systemic change.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's interesting, right, how he connects Tom's story to what all the migrants are going through.
Right.
They're all being pushed down, exploited, but they don't give up.
Emma Joad, oh man, she just keeps going.
She's amazing,
No.
even when it seems like everything's falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Grandpa dying, the baby,
The stillborn baby.
Rosa Sharon, yeah. She never loses hope.
She's the heart of that family.
Yeah.
Keeps them going,
Mm.
that strength she has.
And they find strength in each other too, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just the Joads. It's like all the migrants they meet along the way.
They're all in it together,
Yeah.
facing these same hardships.
They're forming a community.
Exactly. And that's what leads to those moments of resistance, like, Weed Patch.
Oh, yeah.
They created their own little society there.
Yeah, like a glimpse of what could be, right?
A more just society.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't last.
Yeah.
The landowners, the people in power, they see that as a threat.
Of course, they want to keep their control.
Exactly. And they'll do whatever it takes to crush that resistance.
Intimidation, violence.
I mean, they even try to start riots just to make the migrants look bad.
Just messed up.
Steinbeck's showing us how those in power will protect their interests, even if it means keeping a system that's unjust.
Yeah.
It's infuriating, but it's also, a reminder that fighting for justice is never easy.
No.
There's always going to be pushback.
Yeah.
Always people trying to hold on to the way things are.
Yeah. And that's why these stories are so important. Yeah.
Right. They remind us to keep fighting.
Yeah, to never be complacent.
Yeah.
To keep challenging those systems of oppression.
Exactly.
And going back to that scene we talked about before, where they're destroying food
Oh, man.
while people are starving.
It's such a powerful image.
It is.
The waste, the cruelty.
I think that's really a turning point for Tom.
Oh, definitely.
That's when he fully embraces that, the rebel, the fighter.
He kills the deputy.
Yeah, to avenge Casey.
It's like he's finally breaking free
Yeah.
from a system that's designed to hold him down.
But it means he has to go into hiding.
Right, he becomes a fugitive. But his fight doesn't end there.
No.
He tells his family, right,
Wherever there's a fight.
wherever there's a fight so hungry people can eat, I'll be there.
It's powerful.
He's dedicating himself to the bigger cause.
Yeah, fighting for a world where everyone has enough.
Exactly.
And Ma, even though she's losing Tom,
It's heartbreaking for her.
she gets it.
She understands.
She knows this is bigger than just her family.
It's about the collective good.
Yeah.
A better world for everyone.
And then the flood.
Oh, man.
Like one more blow.
Another devastating loss.
I know. Their camp is washed away. They have to start over again.
It's like nature itself is against them.
Yeah.
But, that flood, it's also like a cleansing.
Mm.
Washing away the old, making way for the new.
And then we have that final scene.
Rose of Sharon.
Breastfeeding the starving man.
It's such a powerful image.
I know.
You have death and despair.
Yeah.
But then this incredible act of compassion.
Yeah.
It's like life, finding a way, even in the face of death.
Yeah.
It really is. It kind of sticks with you, doesn't it? All that suffering, but then that moment of just pure human connection.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like, hopeful, right?
It is. It is. It's like even when everything seems lost,
Right.
there's still that capacity for empathy, for caring for another human being.
Yeah. It's like that Rose of Sharon. She lost her own child.
Yeah.
And then she offers that nourishment, that life.
It's like a rebirth.
Yeah.
A continuation.
And it makes me think about, we were talking about that whole cycle of life and death.
Yeah.
And the Joads, they lost so much.
They did. They did.
But there's also that, that sense of starting over, of carrying on.
And I think that's really what Steinbeck's getting at, right? He doesn't sugarcoat things. He shows us the brutal reality of the Depression, but he also gives us these glimmers of hope, that resilience, that strength of the human spirit. And that's what makes this book, it stays with you.
Oh, yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah, it really makes you think about, the systems we live in, the forces that shape our lives.
And our place in those systems, right? Are we contributing to the problem, or are we fighting for a better world? And that's a question, that's just as relevant today
Oh, absolutely.
as it was back then.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From Oklahoma to California, we've been on quite the journey.
Yeah.
What for you really stands out from The Grapes of Wrath? What do you think is like the most important thing to take away?
I think for me, it's that idea of coming together, standing together in the face of oppression. The Joads and all those other families, they find strength in their shared struggle. And they realize that, they're stronger together than they are alone.
Yeah, and that's such a powerful message. Especially today, right?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
more important than ever.
With all the division, the challenges we're facing.
Yeah. Yeah. And Steinbeck reminds us, that we have to stand up for what's right. We have to fight for justice. We have to support those who are struggling.
And sometimes, it's those small acts of kindness that can make the biggest difference.
Like Rose of Sharon.
Yeah.
Just a simple act of giving,
Yeah.
but so powerful.
Well, I think we've reached the end of the road here.
Yeah, I think so.
Our deep dive into the grapes of wrath. And I hope, this is a story that stays with our listener.
It's a story that deserves to be read and reread.
Yeah.
And discussed and thought about.
Yeah, because it's about so much more than just the depression. It's about, what it means to be human.
It is. It's about resilience. It's about hope. It's about, the possibility of a better future, even when things seem dark